Who would have thought that in early 2021, pre-builts would be the way to go? What do I mean by that? Well, if you wanted to buy a pre-built today, chances are you're going to be paying less for it to be pre-built than you would pay if you built it yourself by buying individual parts. And the reason for that is because graphics cards are so dang expensive. Now, folks, I'm not going to beat the dead horse, okay? We've been talking about extremely expensive graphics cards for the past few months. We all understand, hopefully by this point, what is going on with the graphics card market and why prices are so expensive. But when it gets so bad to the point where people are buying pre-builts and literally ripping graphics cards out of them, like they're just buying the pre-builts for the graphics cards and then selling the shells or whatever remains of the system back onto the used market, that's when you know you got a big problem. And we're gonna talk about what people are doing here. It's actually pretty smart. I mean, given the circumstances, I don't blame individuals for doing this. I just think that eventually the market will catch up to this trend and pre-built companies are gonna have no choice but to raise prices as a result of the increased demand. But we'll talk more about that in this video. Stay with me. To get rid of that annoying activation watermark, hop on over to VIP SCD Key and purchase a Windows 10 Pro OEM key for fractions of the price of retail. Just use a secure payment method like PayPal, receive your key in seconds, and activate your OS here. Bye-bye watermark. And be sure to use our new offer code SKGS for a sweet discount. So just to give you some context, we're gonna start off with eBay prices right now. This is what you could buy a GTX 1650 Super for as of time of film. You can see some of these are selling brand new for like 400 bucks. There's another one here for $400. We've got some that are in hand, like this one here is actually an OEM, and we'll talk more about this specific one in a second. $335 for that 1650 Super. And if we check sold listings, we'll see that these are in fact actual market going rates for these cards. This one sold for 390 bucks just a few hours ago. All of these are selling for easily into the 300s, with the exception of a few, again, maybe the smaller OEM cards. But yeah, we're easily seeing 300, sometimes even 400 bucks for new 1650 Supers. And this is the big problem here, okay? 1650 Supers have MSRPs of $160. So all of these cards are selling for at least double, if not triple, depending on the AIB, triple MSRP. That is nuts. Even if it was just double MSRP, that is still nuts, especially for a card this weak. And that brings us to the pre-built situation. Like this one here, the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Super, right? This whole line here, this is the one that people want to see. They don't really care about this other stuff. Intel Core i3-10100, I mean, that's fine. Entry-level CPU, bare bones DDR4, 256 gig NVMe SSD is not bad. You get Windows 10 Home. Actually, if you price this out on PC Part Picker, you can see down here at the bottom that it ain't all that bad. Now, I did, select some things that probably aren't in this system. I picked an Asus Pro H410M motherboard. I'm not sure. Pre-built companies typically aren't specific about motherboards and power supplies. The power supply problem is the big problem I have with the way pre-builts advertise these systems. But anyway, the Core i3 is the same, right? We've got the more or less the same NVMe drive, give or take a few, gigabytes reads and write difference. Cooler Master box. I mean, I can't find that OEM case, obviously, but I've got a $50 case in here. It's probably not more expensive than the one that they're including in their pre-built. And then I have a 600 watt 80 plus certified power supply from EVGA. I've used these quite a bit. You can see this price is actually really good at Best Buy if you want to go to a local Best Buy and pick one up. But the price doesn't differ too much on Amazon either. This power supply is probably a lot better than the one that's in the OEM. But here's the kicker, right? I had to manually input a GTX 1650 Super price of 160 bucks. Now this is a P&Y model, so it's pretty much bare bones. See, it's a single fan cooler, very small, looks very similar to the OEM 1650 Super that they put in their system. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But anyway, I put an MSRP of 160 bucks, and that brings us to that total down at the bottom of about $500. So the pre-built company, so HP is basically charging another $100 on top of what it would cost you or I to build. You have to factor in the Windows key and things like that. So when viewed from that lens, this isn't all that bad, right? 600 bucks is what, $100 markup over what it would cost to build. Sure, I mean, that's a 20% markup, but we're talking about a $500 base price. So yeah, the percentages are gonna be a bit higher. At the end of the day though, you pull this thing out of the box, right? You plug it in and it works. It's a pre-built. That's what it's supposed to do. It's peace of mind. It's ease of use, ease of installation, because there's really no installation required, and saves you time, saves you hassle, right? The difference is building your own saves you money most of the time. At least that used to be the case. And You get to be more custom about what goes in your system. If you want a pre-built like this, I mean, you're gonna have to stick with the power supply that comes in this, right? Take it or leave it. But if you build your own, you can choose what components go in your system. So just a kind of a juxtaposition between pre-builts and custom builds. This is okay for the price. I'm not really surprised that they're charging $100 on top of what it would cost to build, but here's the thing. This graphics card is super appealing to a lot of people. So what are they doing? They're flipping them. And I'll be honest with you, it's not a bad idea. Check out this HP OEM NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Super 4GB gaming graphics card, right? This listing here sold for 280 bucks. This is the exact same card that you get from that HP Pavilion gaming PC that we just showed you from Amazon. That Amazon listing is one of the top results when you type in gaming PC on Amazon, right? I think it's a sponsored listing, so it's gonna show up near the top anyway. But this card came straight out of one of those pre-builts, and it's sold, confirmed sold, it's in green, so we know this is a sold listing. Confirmed sold for $280 plus $5.20 in shipping. This is the simplest example of arbitrage that I can give you. Somebody bought that HP Pavilion pre-built knowing that HP valued that graphics card at only about 150, 160 bucks based on their asking price for the pre-built, right? They turned around, took it to a different market, sold it as an individual component for almost twice what HP valued that card at. 280 bucks. This person got literally half of the cost of the entire pre-built back just by pulling the graphics card out and selling it on a third-party site. Now, I know that eBay has all kinds of fees associated with selling on their site. That's kind of how eBay makes money, more or less, but it's still it's still possible to make money, I should say. And again, if you crunch the numbers, and even if you assume worst case that you sell the remaining components in the pre-built together for 300 bucks, which is a really good deal considering what you're getting there, you're at least breaking even, at least. But you could probably squeeze a bit more out of these cards if you're willing to play your cards right, and, no pun intended, and you could probably get a bit more than $300 for the remaining components in that pre-built. Assuming, again, you either part out individual components there, which would probably make you the most money, or if you sold it all as one unit, you could maybe get $350, $375. Who knows what people would pay for those things. But yeah, this is one of those, like, very rare opportunities. I don't think it will last very long. It's only just recently become viable to do this. And I have seen many people on Twitter state that they have been buying pre-builts just to pull the graphics card out of them, either to flip them or to use them. Now, if you're buying these pre-builts just to pull the graphics card out to put in your own system to use, I mean, that's just as fair as doing this. To be honest, anyone flipping these, they're just doing what they can do. Right? This is no different than scalping. And I know we hate scalping. We hate people that want to just take advantage of us gamers, right? Us genuine gamers just looking for cards at MSRP. But at the end of the day, scalpers aren't doing anything illegal. They are just taking advantage of market conditions. And those market conditions only last usually a few months. I have a feeling in this case we'll be experiencing overpriced graphics cards, limited supply, high demand for the entirety of 2021. I hate to say that, but this is worse than what we saw in the initial crypto mining craze that happened circa 2018, 2017, somewhere in that time period. This is worse. And I think that it's compounded by the fact that these graphics card manufacturers, NVIDIA and AMD, are continuing to launch products that they cannot reliably supply. I mean, it's kind of a joke that they're even launching cards at this point in this current market. But whatever, you got quotas, you got shareholders to please. That's how big companies run. So if you didn't know about this whole pre-built proposition, well, you do now. And it's something that I don't think will last much longer. Look, there's no incentive for me to pump these, right? Apart from maybe the affiliate links that I put in the descriptions of these videos, and I only make pennies on the dollar for items sold through those links. So that's really my only, if I'm being upfront and disclosing any kind of personal interest I have in disclosing this kind of information, that's really the only benefit I'll get out of it. That and obviously YouTube AdSense, whatever ad I manually place in this video, but those are really beside the point. HP is not, they haven't told me to make this video. No other pre-built company has even contacted me about trying to get them advertising space, apart from maybe NCXT PLD, but the last time I worked with them was several months ago before the market really took a turn for the worse. This is something that I don't expect will last very long again. So if you want to jump on it, if you want a 1650 Super, and it makes sense, if you've done the math in your head, right, and you're able to justify the eBay listing fees, the shipping fees associated with this, you think you can get your money back at least, this is how you get a 1650 Super for a decent price. Whereas if you had bought one on eBay used, you would have paid $300 plus. So you still made some money, or you saved some money, I should say. But so that's just a risk that you need to assess yourself. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this idea in the comments. Again, it's not my idea. This has been happening for quite a while. I just figured I would finally bring it to your attention because it is pretty much the only viable way I can think of buying a card at a decent price right now. It does involve a lot of work. It's either that or maybe get lucky and find a random listing locally from somebody that just doesn't know what the market looks like right now. Yeah, we can be mad all we want at folks trying to get $700 for their GTX 1080 Ti's, right? We can badmouth them, we could ignore them, right? But at the end of the day, they're just selling their cards for more than likely what they will sell for. I mean, they're just listing them for prices that are market prices, right? They've done their research. Can we really fault them for that? But anyway, different debate for a different video. Again, let me know in the comments what you think about this idea and if it's something you would entertain. If you have entertained it, let us know how you justified it and what you did with the remaining components. Did you just flip those components? Did you build a second system and just, give it to a family member or whatever? And if you did flip a pre-built, tell us what pre-built it was, and let us know if it's still around. If it's not around, then yeah, I mean, that was a small window of opportunity there. Most of these opportunities only last for a certain amount of time, which is why I want to get this video out as quickly as possible. I was not planning to post this before the next episode in the PCDC playlist, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Give this one a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning with me.